According to Fortune magazine, 80% of new hires who receive poor onboarding plan to quit, especially if they're remote workers. This is so expensive for the business, not just in recruiting costs, but in people's time, in bringing people on and interviewing them and training them. It takes time to find the right person, get them up to speed, and get them to be productive, and then to have them leave, not okay. Rather than go through this issue over and over again, why don't we take a pause and think about what you can do to create awesome onboarding that engages employees? What I'd like to share with you is an acronym that I created, and it's about creating a fresh start. A fresh start for the new employee, and this is a fresh way to onboard people. There are 5 steps to making a fresh start. The first part is facilitate an inclusive culture. This means when you have meetings, make sure that you are sending an agenda in advance so everyone knows what to expect, and those folks who like to research beforehand and come forward with their thoughts can do so. When you are having everyone speak in the meeting, go around the room and have each person speak when it's an important topic, rather than just ask people to volunteer. A lot of people feel shy in a big group setting, or they may not have had an agenda in advance to think about it. So when you take that step to facilitate an open, inclusive culture, you're going to hear from more voices, and those folks that you are onboarding will feel more welcome and comfortable. The R of fresh is revise your standard operating procedures, revise your onboarding videos. Now, standard operating procedures, this is about documenting how work is done. And you may think, oh God, what a drag. And it is a little bit time consuming, but it's a little bit of time on the front end to save a lot of time on the back end. Because imagine you are a new employee and you're asking how things are done, and it's not documented anywhere. We see it all too often, and so many of my HR partners tell me the same thing. Also, make sure your videos are up to date. A family member of mine recently started a job and said the videos were so old and just didn't really show where the company is today. So take that time investment. The E of fresh is engage buddies and mentors for your new hires. Some leaders have a sink or swim style, and they'll say, be gregarious, get out there, introduce yourself to people. This is difficult for new hires to do, especially if it's in a virtual environment. People could feel awkward doing this. When you assign a buddy to a new employee who helps introduce them to others, who makes sure they're doing okay, they have the resources and tools they need, it makes a world of difference. Because why? Somebody cares. One of the things I say when it comes to organizations and their wellness is somebody cares, nobody cares. And you want someone who's new to the organization to feel that somebody cares. The S of the fresh model is share the vision, values, and strategy of the organization. Let the employee know why the organization is here. What is the big vision? What are the strategies that you are trying to achieve? How will the functions work together? This helps the employee put the pieces together, get on board quicker, and get excited about what the organization is doing. The 5th step of the fresh model has a word that has a negative connotation in corporate America. However, I think it's really important, and I'd like to have a new use of this word. The 5th step is handhold employees while they are learning the company, the culture, and the customers. Sometimes leaders will say, oh, that person is a little bit difficult, they require so much handholding. What I'm talking about is in the beginning of an employee's experience to literally help them along and help them feel comfortable till they get to a point where they are thriving. And then when new employees come on, they could do some handholding. I want to make this a positive word to use in companies because it means helping employees be engaged. Along this path, you can check in with employees, ask them, how are you doing? What's going well? What are your challenges? Do you have any suggestions for us? When new employees come in, they have a fresh perspective, and so it's always helpful to ask them what questions they have, what observations or suggestions they have. So here's to your fresh start. Here's to retaining your employees and creating an environment where they want to go nowhere else because they are so engaged and empowered and aligned with your vision, values, and strategies.